The capacity for you guys to lend more than the banks, say up to 75% of value, that must be an attractive option for developers in this uncertain market when they're trying to understand the true price, the costs of the build. You know what I mean? So there's almost a bit of a buffer there for builders to to incur greater costs out of their control in terms of supplies, and therefore give the developers an opportunity to sit down and negotiate, you know, a compromise which allows something for the builder to recognise those increasing costs, but also get the project done, and you've got the finance locked in. Am I?
Yeah, I think you're touching on 2 points there potentially. So yes, we advance more capital so the developer has less equity in the project. So that means they could maybe take on 2+ projects where with the banks it might limit them to 1. So it gives the developer more equity. The second part of the question I believe you're touching on, Michael, is the rigidity of banks and working through construction contracts. So as you may well have heard in the media recently, fixed price, fixed time contracts.
Yeah.
And the issue has been there, a builder will come in, agree the price and agree the time, and banks require that very strictly. And what's happened is the costs have gone up. So it's been impossible for the builder to pass those costs back on to the developer. And so the builder gets into a position where they might have quoted for a job at 20 million, their inputted costs are now 22 million, and they can't pass that on. So really good question. There are abilities for, especially Denning has done this actively on a recent project where we have allowed a higher degree of provisional cost items. So where it's a fixed price contract, it is fixed for most of the items, but there are certain items that are detailed in the schedule, and we get our lawyers to very articulately word that for us, that we allow some rise and fall or for some provisional cost items. And we've assessed that in terms of the overall budget, and we have allowed that flexibility in those contracts. Linking back to a podcast that you had with Jack Hutchison just a couple of weeks ago, that was exactly one of the issues that he pointed on, and needing more flexibility for the builders in the build contracts, and that's definitely something that we can entertain. We see a builder completing the project is more important at the present time than locking in that fixed price, fixed time component, because we know it costs a lot more should a builder not finish the project like we've seen.
That's exactly what I was trying to say, but you said so much better.